Let me actually start by saying this, what we think we know. And I say that because the investigation is ongoing, and I don't think, I think a lot of people are trying to claim the FBI is lying to us and all that. And I think Cash has been as honest as he can be. I mean, he's working into a degree in intelligence, so he can't just leak all this information, especially if they're building a case. But I believe we are getting pretty much as close to the real story from the feds. I also think it's fair to point out, even Cash has stated, they're looking at every angle. They're looking at possible other shooters, any information or tips that people have. They're trying to figure this one out, same as everybody else. But we've got the official story that we have now is there is a man who was accused of shooting Charlie Kirk. He was on a roof with a bolt-action .30-06. He was motivated by the hatred spread by Charlie, according to this official story, and he shot Charlie in the neck right around the time that Charlie was answering a question about trans mass shooters. This individual was seen limping on a private security camera towards the UVU. He was seen on video on the roof fleeing after the shot was taken, apparently holding something that appears to be a gun. The bullets, as reported by the feds, had engravings on it with memes and messages. And this individual had a long conversation with his transgender boyfriend, basically saying, here's why I did it, and, here's what I was doing. Now, there are questions that people have that I think are warranted, such as the ballistics, which I think can be answered. I think certainly people who are tracking ballistics are making interesting points, but I think there's a lot of people that are jumping the gun and saying outright, oh, it's not possible. It's not possible. Well, it is possible, and we'll get to that stuff in the greater conversation. But as to the story that we have so far, everyone has questioned the conversation between the boyfriend and the alleged shooter because it reads very scripted. At the bare minimum, it's transposed because there's not a single typo. Matt Walsh has suggested that the boyfriend was involved, and this message was to create reasonable doubt in a potential court hearing. There's also other information. This is confirmed. The FBI is investigating Discord chats and other potential groups, these queer and trans rifle groups, because there were 7 accounts online that had foreknowledge or presented information that appeared to show foreknowledge of the assassination plot, indicating it's likely not a lone wolf. But that being said, before we dive into some of these conspiracy theories, we'll just throw it to you guys, and I'll ask you guys what you think is going on.
Yeah, so I think we got a lot of misguided stories from the FBI and from our government and then from the mainstream media. It seems like that they're using the media to basically present and push out a narrative. And then once we tear apart that narrative, they're coming back and saying, oh, wait, there was no official FBI statement. So I think we should start at the very beginning. And the first big break in the story, I think, was when Blake Bednarz went through all the footage and he realized, he said, hey, the people in the cafeteria, and I showed this to Myron on the way here, you can see the people that in the cafeteria that filmed the video of the man running across the roof, right? At that exact point that they're filming that, you're seeing the crowd out there scrouching down. So then I go outside and I go, okay, let's start a video at the exact moment that Charlie gets shot. And I go, I'm going to press play and you're going to hear bang. And then we count 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000. I'm also using the timer on the computer to from the video thread. It's 3 seconds from the time that from the time that shot goes off to the time that crowd's sitting down. So then you go back to the camera on the inside and you see the man running on the roof is in a full sprint. Within 3 seconds of Charlie being shot, 100% fact, we know whoever that man was on the low-C building on that roof is in a full sprint with or without his rifle in hand within 3 seconds. So then I hired a journalist to go back to the crime scene and actually film. I wanted to see the video, the camera, the CCTV footage that was used that the FBI gave us. So the FBI gives us the footage, which is time-stamped on the date and time at 12:23.34 it starts. So at 34 it starts and you see him running across the roof. Okay, so 3 seconds prior to that video footage that the FBI gave us would have shown this man laying in the prone position and taking that shot. So I'm not trying to push any narrative. I'm saying at the very least what I want is just 10 seconds, 15 seconds longer of the video that you've already gave us. Then he went back to the crime scene, and there's not only one CCTV camera there, there's 2 cameras, and I showed this to Myron as well.
Wait, I just want to clarify that when you're discussing the 3 seconds, are you referring to device timestamps, or are you saying regardless of the time it was in the video, it was 3 seconds?
I'm saying in the video in the cafeteria, he's running on the roof. You see that. And then you see the crowd scrouching down. The crowd in that video just realized Charlie had been shot. So then I went to the outside video and I'm watching and I watched the shot go off and you hear bang and I go, okay, I'm just watching the timestamp on the video, how long it takes the crowd to actually start scrouching down. And that's
Can we pull
roughly
up the
3
video
seconds.
for them so they can see?
Yeah, you can if you want. I can airdrop it to you.
Do you have it on do you have it on X?
I do have it on X.
I can go to your X account.
Yeah, that way the audience can kind of hear. I mean, my thing on this is
which
yeah, I got to find it. It's gonna. I put
Ryan Matta 8.
Ryan Matta Media.
Yeah, the information around this case is changing like every day, man.
But so let me try and understand what you're saying though. So in both videos, it's 3 seconds.
Yeah, it takes the crowd 3 seconds to sit down, and then you go back into the cafeteria and you go look at you're watching the crowd.
You're saying the crowd in the cafeteria ducked before the crowd outside?
No, I'm saying you're seeing him in the cafeteria view. You see the man running across the roof, and you know that he's running. And in that video, you can also see the crowd starting to crouch down.
It's very popular. You guys have probably seen it. It was.
I haven't.
On the first day it came out, the shooting happened. Everyone
Oh,
saw it.
right. The
Yeah,
video,
it was
yes.
like someone's recording inside a building, and you can see a dark figure running across the roof.
Right, I remember that for sure.
We'll show it for the audience.
But I'm just.
How do I airdrop this to you?
You can't.
Fuck.
Well, I'm trying to understand what you're saying between these two videos. I don't understand.
Okay, just watch the press play.
So it's the time difference between the motion of the crowd and the motion.
I know, but what does that mean?
That means that the man is running on the roof within 3 seconds of the shot being fired.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're a sniper, you're laying on the roof, you take this shot, and somehow you magically are up in a full sprint with the rifle in hand within 3 seconds.
Have you ever? But 3 seconds is a long time.
I know, but what I'm saying is, I just want the FBI to release the video. If they would have released it, they released it specifically 3 seconds after Charlie was shot.
I think this is a screenshot.
Press play.
No, it's
Scroll left to right. There.
It's an
You
image.
made a FOIA request? Actually, it's
A
an ongoing.
gentleman made the first FOIA request 2 days ago.
Okay.
So
Camelot something.
one thing that bothers me about
so-
this.
Sorry.
You're good.
You guys ever see the MythBusters thing where they test a knife versus a gun, and it's like at 21 yards you can stab a guy before he can draw on you?
Oh, when I was in the academy, and for the audience that doesn't know, I used to be an agent with Homeland Security Investigations. They would show you that stuff all the time to train you. Like, hey, if someone has a knife, you need to get your gun out as quickly as possible because they can close the distance.
Right.
It's one of the core things they teach you in every law enforcement academy.
That's why I'm saying, like, I agree with your point on the we should get more. Where's the rest of the footage of this? But and I'm not saying this. I'm just kind of adding this in my view. It looks like it makes sense that someone took a shot and then immediately just bolted.
Yep. And then can I add to this?
Yeah,
Go
go ahead.
So then Candace goes, 2 days ago, she went and tracked down the very first video of the guys that are kind of walking up and they go, hey, is there somebody on that roof up there?
Yeah.
Okay, so in that video, they're going, man, the guy just ran across. Is he already in position? So Candace went and got the timestamp of that video. That's at 12:22. So this man runs across the roof. This is what we know. This is just the evidence that we've been presented, right? The man runs across the roof, gets into prone position, takes the shot and fires the shot within 1 minute, and then within 3 seconds is in a full sprint off that roof. And there's 2 cameras that the FBI has, 2 CCTV videos that we know that they have.
Yep.
And that's all I'm asking for. Is you guys want to prove this narrative, then it's so simple. Just release the video that shows him taking that shot and getting up and grabbing his rifle, and then we can put all the
Let me add to that.
conspiracy
That's what has me skeptical. The official narrative has me very skeptical on a couple of things, and one of the things that bothers me is, like, remember when they released that footage when they were trying to identify him and he jumps off?
Yeah.
They don't show you where he's there and takes the shot, right? So I'm like, why did you guys not show us that so that we can, like, literally see him taking the shot, getting up, running across, so that we know he's a shooter? They purposely left that out.
Well, yeah, but is that like sensitivity reasons maybe? Like we don't want to show the actual murder.
Well, here's the thing. I think if you're going to put it out anyway to try to get the guy identified, you should put out everything.
Well,
and the fact that they didn't show that bothers me.
I mean, I would defer to you. You did law enforcement.
Yeah.
My concern would be, could that compromise a criminal case against him?
No, because
What if there's something in it that is identifying that if you release to the public, you could get false confessions or, right? They don't want to. They don't. Maybe he did something unique that they can prove in court that nobody knows, and they don't want these.
Yeah, of course. But when you got a case of this type of magnitude where, you have an enormous burden of bearing some type of public trust and people are asking questions, and obviously Kash Patel is like, look, I'm going to try to be the most transparent FBI. They should release that. And what I will also say is that I think it's important that we understand that he was charged by the state, which means since he was charged by the state, it's actually the Utah law enforcement locals that are running the case. It's actually DPS.
There's been no federal indictment.
It's not
of him?
FBI that's lead like people think.
I thought the feds are trying to bring charges.
They are, but at this point, the state's running the criminal investigation since it's going through a state court.
Well, if the state's looking to bring charges, wouldn't the state say, look, this is the evidence that we don't want you to make public because we're building a case?
And the
You mean
feds
from the federal perspective?
Yeah, it's out there from the feds?
You could, I mean, I don't see, if you already release the footage in an effort to try to identify the guy when he's jumping off, I don't see why not releasing him taking the shot would be, or at least him in a prone position. You can at least show us that. But it is very I'm very skeptical of the fact that it didn't show everything from that point since they already showed him jumping off the roof. And then the fact that there's a second camera angle.
I do want to just start because this I appreciate tremendously. Like these videos of palm guns and other weird stuff, it's just nonsense. Thanks for watching this clip from the Culture War podcast. We're live every Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, so subscribe and come hang out.